Hey everybody, got a unique video tonight. Now, before I even get started, I want everyone to understand this is not a Barney video. It is not a child's video. It is not a video to make you go into what they call a make-believe land. You will be required to use a part of your imagination to help you with a scientific portion of what I'm going to describe to you this evening. Like I said, it's not a Barney video and it's not a child's video. There's nothing wrong with this video. Any child could watch it, but I want you to sit back and relax and use your mind and your imagination and listen to my voice. Even if you have to, close your eyes and listen as I begin to describe what this sermon is. So you think you're smarter than God. Many people in this world, at some point in time in their life, yours truly included, has thought, yes, I have pulled one over on the Almighty, only to find out just how dumb I really was. And He has been very gracious in showing me, as I'm sure He has everyone else. Everyone has been at that point. So you want to understand just how smart the Lord God is. Okay, now, this video is not going to express exactly how smart He is, but it's going to give you an idea. I like to use a term from Alice in Wonderland. It's called the rabbit hole. You've heard it in several movies. The movie The Matrix used this phrase, and the cartoon Alice in Wonderland used it. Let's see just how deep the rabbit hole goes. Okay, let's use that in this video. Let's see just how deep this rabbit hole goes. You're going to be very surprised. Sometime when you're outside and you're looking around at the world, I'm not talking about your neighbors screaming at their kids or people that are in a car behind another person driving slow and you hear the loud blowing of the horn, or people letting a few choice words fly, or aggravations or stress. I'm not talking about those things. I'm talking about the royal sounds of nature. A beautiful sunlight. It's not too hot. It's not too cold. It's just a beautiful spring, early summer day. And you're sitting outside with a glass of iced tea or a glass of lemonade or even a glass of water, whatever your choice is, sitting outside in a lawn chair, just relaxing, enjoying, letting yourself unwind. And you look about you at nature. You see the sky, the clouds, the sun. You see and hear the birds. You hear the wind rustling through the leaves of the trees. Simply look down at your yard. Something very simple, yet it's very easily to overlook until the time when it's about this tall. Then you can't overlook it. You got to get out there with the weed eater and the lawnmower, and you got to spend time to cut this down and rake it and all that to make it look good again. But focus on the grass. We'll start small. Reach down and pick just one single blade of grass and hold it in front of you and just look at it the best way you can. Now, I'm visually impaired, but I have looked at a blade of grass in my younger days. And I know there's all kinds of little fine lines, little fine things in there that I never really understood. And I still don't understand all of them today. But each one of these has a meaning. And I'm going to get deeper into this. This is where your imagination needs to kick in. Imagine, if you will, you are in a microscopic spaceship, if you will. And this blade of grass is what you're flying into. You want to fly into this blade of grass, not just to land on its surface, but you want to go in all the way deep to its subatomic level. We're talking about all of those nice little particles that we were taught all those years ago in physical science about atoms, their protons, their electrons, their neutrons, and etc. We're going to go into this grass blade. We're going to go past the surface, past the follicles that are on it, past the cells that make it, past the veins, past the molecules, all the way into where all you see now is this universe of tiny atoms. And so it doesn't bog your mind down, because our minds are pretty simple when you're talking about the Almighty. So let's try to keep it simple as we can. Let's just focus on a simple hydrogen atom. That's about the most basic atom there is. It consists of one electron, one proton, and one neutron. Very simple to identify, very simple to keep track of in your mind. And there's hundreds of millions of billions of these in this little area where you're at. So let's zoom in on just one. Now you're looking at one sitting there spinning at the speed of light, so fast that you can't really see it. But let's use our mind and slow it down to where you see it spinning around the nucleus. Now, to understand how smart the Lord God is, the Bible tells you that He knows everything. Let's explore that word, everything. We have went as far as we can go with all of our knowledge, down to the basics of life: an electron, a proton, and a neutron. And we're looking at this. So let's get rid of the proton and the neutron for now, and let's focus on this single little tiny electron. Okay? What is it made of? Nobody really knows. We can't go past that point, but God knows. So, for the sake of conversation, this is in your mind. Let's give the substance that makes this electron up. Let's call it a wallaby. It's wallaby material. So let's call it a wallaby material. So now we're getting in our little spaceship, and we're going to zoom into this little electron, which we're going to see cells and molecules and veins and all these different things until we get to where the little wallabies are. Now we're looking at all these little wallabies in there. And then we go, what's this made of? And this trend continues on. And we can give it a name. We can call it a backroot. We can call it whatever we want to call it in our mind, and continue to the next level. What's that made of? Okay, now let's give this a name. Okay, now what's that made of? You see, the Lord God has went to this end of the rabbit hole as far as it can possibly go. If we keep on this trend, we're going to sit here forever trying to figure out just exactly how deep it is, because the question is, well, what's that made of? Well, what's that made of? Okay, now what's that made of? You see, that question, it's like the question why. If you ever get in an argument with someone and you really want to irritate them, simply continue to ask them the question why. Why did you do that? Well, I don't know. Why? Well, I told you I don't know. Why? Well, I have no clue. Why? Why don't you know? Why don't you have the answer? Why? And you can never get to the end of the question, why? Okay, in this little segment that we're talking about, this is how you continue on in this rabbit hole. What's that made of? Okay, now what's that made of? Okay, now what's that made of? You see, the Lord God created everything, including the stuff that we don't even know is there. He knows what's there. He knows how He made it, because He made it. Well, There's no dead end at this end of the rabbit hole. It's going to continue on in that direction for as long as we want to continue to sit there. Okay, now what's that made of? Okay, now what's that made of? It's just going to continue on. That end of the rabbit hole has an infinite tunnel. Only God knows what's at the end of that tunnel. So you can waste the next 99 years of your life, keep on asking that question, and you ain't never going to know. But he does. He knows just this. Now, we're just trying to figure out what an electron's made of and what the material that makes an electron's made of and what that material is made of and what that material is made of. And it just keeps going. You see, it gets your brain to hurting. That's all we're trying to figure out. Okay, so now, before we go nuts and we start sitting over in the corner with our lip pushed out right there like we thought we were really, really smart, and we thought we were hip, and we thought we'd figured all this out. You know, before we're sitting in the corner going blah, 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 like this, let's turn the ship around and let's go the opposite direction. Let's go back through to come out of the grass. We'll pass the electrons. We will pass the molecules. We will pass the cells. Pass right back out to where we're looking at this blade of grass again. Now, we found out that just going into this one blade of grass has an infinite rabbit hole. Now I ask you, how many blades of grass are on planet Earth? Because God knows every part to every single one of them. Wow, your head hurts now, doesn't it? That's a lot of knowledge. And we're just talking about grass. What about the trees? What about the leaves? What about the squirrels? What about the rabbits? What about the deer? Every living animal, every living creature, every living bug, every drop of water, every molecule of air, every piece of the wind, every piece of dirt, every element, everything about the entire planet Earth. Every fish, every egg, every sea, every worm, every fly, you name it. Whatever you can conjure up on this planet that is a real substance on this planet. God knows everything there is to know about every single piece that there is. Why? Because he made it and put it here. He knows how to make gold. He knows how to make diamonds. He knows how to make oil. He knows how to make coal. He knows how to make dirt. He knows how to make rot. He knows how to make good. He knows everything that there is to know involving planet Earth. Now, remember when we went in to investigate the little electron inside the one blade of grass? Now that we went the other way, we have talked about planet Earth and every living thing just on planet Earth. And every living thing, all of it that's on planet Earth, equals one electron in our solar system. Our solar system, our galaxy, has 9 planets in it, plus the sun. God knows everything there is to know about the sun. God knows everything there is to know about Mercury, Venus, and there is life on Venus. There's plant life on it. So he knows everything that there is living on Venus too. And then we've got Earth and Mars and Saturn and Jupiter, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. Okay, he made all of these planets and everything, every speck of dust, every piece of ice, every ounce of water, every element, everything that we don't even know is there. He made all this too. And the rabbit holes for each one of these elements are exactly the same as the single electron in the one grass blade that you cannot fathom. And now we take all 9 planets that I just mentioned, and all of that is compressed into one tiny electron when you compare it to every galaxy in just this solar system. Scientists have said there are hundreds, maybe thousands of galaxies just like this in our solar system, okay, that we can't even get to. Now, God knows everything about every one of them too, and every star and every sun and every planet and every piece of life he put out there too, you see. And all of that knowledge in this one solar system is one electron to the cosmos. You see, we keep coming back to this little tiny electron. And you think that you can get one over on God, and all we are trying to do is back him in a corner when it comes to just physical science. That's just one topic. That's just what everything's made of. That's your periodic table. And that's all we're getting into. We ain't talking about the rules of oxygen and gravity and why space is a vacuum and all of that, what makes the sun keep burning and all this other stuff. We haven't even touched any of that stuff. We're just talking about physical properties like the elements, table of elements out there. You see, everything out there is made of atoms. And we think that we're smart. We think that we got it. And all of that is just a single electron. One electron to God. Because he knows every single bit of that in this solar system. Now, how many solar systems are out there? How many universes could possibly be out there? We can't breach the heliosphere. We can't do it. But who's to say that there aren't 100 million universes out there? We don't know. But he does. Guarantee he knows. So you think you're smarter than God? The next time you want to get in a brain competition with the Lord, I would advise that you pull up a chair, bite down on an apple, and tune your ears into his voice and listen to what he got to say. Because he knows stuff that you will never even hear of that's going on out there. You see, God can walk in front of a quasar. You can't. God can stand on the surface of a quasar. You can't, because the quasar won't hurt him. We can't even get a good picture of it. You see? So how do we know anything about it? God can walk through radiation. He made it. He made it with his bare hands. Radioactive uranium. He made it with his hands. He's still alive. Didn't hurt him. But we can't even go near it. We go near it, we die. So, like I said, if you think that you're smarter than God, you better stop and remember the blade of grass. Use your imagination and think. See, Satan is the same thing. He thinks that he's got one over on God, and he doesn't realize that God has got so much more knowledge than he could encompass in his entire little brain. This is why God beats him at every single turn. All he can do is run around like a 2-year-old and cause problems. Remember the Problem Child, that movie Problem Child? How he's always causing problems, getting into trouble. That's what Satan's doing to God. But in the end, what happened to the Problem Child? He got corrected. That's what's going to happen in the end of all of this. You see, the Lord God has all of the knowledge that there is to have. He knows everything. If there is a knowledge out there that God don't know, I guarantee none of us are ever going to figure it out. But that's just it. The rabbit hole for God is infinitely to the west and to the east. It's infinite to the north and to the south. It's infinite forward and reverse because God put those boundaries up. He holds those boundaries and he works outside them. So how are you going to get one up on him? How are you going to outsmart him? How are you going to outthink him? You ain't. He might let you think, yeah, I got him now. Yeah. Hey, God, what about this right here? And God will be sitting there going, okay, what about this? And you'll be like, so you didn't think about that. Why didn't I see that? Because your brain is limited, and his has no boundaries. He operates at a level way above any of us. And like I said, I could not possibly tell you how smart he is. This video will not do that department just. But it is a tool for you. And next time you think you're going to outsmart the Almighty, it's a good idea to watch this video and just realize who and what you're dealing with. You're dealing with all the knowledge. And so it don't matter what you say, he's already got the answer. In fact, he already know what you're going to say before you even know what you're going to say. And he's already got the answer right there in front of him. I forgot to turn off the light switch. And God's going to go, yeah, I know. That's why I went ahead and did it for you. See? You can't get one over on him. You can't best him. You can't back him into a corner. It's like chess. You ever lure your opponent in, make your opponent think, yeah, I'm getting ready to checkmate him in 4 moves. About that time you slide the castle down and checkmate him, he can't do nothing. Well, there you go. My brothers, there you go. God bless you.